Hi Push, Namaskara. Peace. So, hi guys, welcome to my podcast. As you know, it's about words, and here I have Push, as we call him affectionately. It's Mr. Pushpanath Krishnamurthy, who is few words will not be able to kind of contain the kind of inspiration and energy he holds. Very recent work would mean the book, The Unreasonable Transformers, and then we go back to the larger scene of his work, which is the climate justice walk. And he's one of the most motivated persons I have met with an exceptional amount of energy to share with people, to kind of weave himself to bring together a world which he sees as fair, full of justice, and kind of seeped in sustainability values. That's what comes to my mind now. So more from Push. So if you would want to say hi to all our audience there.
Hello, listeners. This is such a honor, and it's a humble one. And meeting Anil and knowing what he does, so I feel that I'm deeply, profoundly honored. And I've tried to share a few words. I won't disappoint you all. I'll try not to. And it's good to be here.
Yes, disappointment is is the farthest word that's going to be the outcome here. So now, like the mandate is, I would want Push to share with us, as in what's the role of words have been in your life, in your journey. I mean, what, how has words played a role in your life?
Words play a massive role. I keep telling if you suddenly like in Canada, Vishwasha means we have trust, but asuye is bad. People can use these words, and each of them can have very profound impact. Sometimes simple words can have elevate people too. If I say ಕೃತಜ್ಞತೆ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ದು ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಯಿತು ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸೇ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ grateful that you are here, it means one. And simple words can actually elevate people if they are positive, if they're doing something. But most of the other words which are not positive but negative can be a barb from your childhood. You will take it inside yourself because there's a mutala another, these kinds of. So words need to be carefully thought of. Every time we open our mouth, we need to be a little bit thoughtful, being self-aware and being thoughtful of the other person. So that actually will help. Even when we are angry, if you just wait for some time, you can actually remodulate your word, because once the word comes out, you can't retrace it back. So that would be my thought. And be careful with words, what you say. And some great words can help. Simple words, I have a dream. When Martin Luther said, hey, what's a dream? You see, so things like that. As Mahatma Gandhi would say that, think of the last person before you do anything. That's a great kind of word sentence. So I think there are great words in our own culture. And I think we need to think about that and use more of that.
And that the role of words in society now. Do you think words are being used judiciously? And how are children who are growing up? They look at adults, and a lot of words are floating around. What do you think is the kind of resonance that is setting up? I mean, in your whole, you have visited so many countries, and you've listened to so many dialects. If I may bring that, that's a very rich kind of a journey which people want. Travel, be a part of cultures. So there, how do you see Push? How do you think? Can you just give me something where
No, that's an important question. I think we are all trying to deal. I mean, because leadership across the world increasingly tending to be using words that divide us. Yeah. And I think there's more common among us than those that divide us. But when people are already facing certain amount of stress, a simple divisive word can fire up, it lit fire in a bad way. Especially if somebody with power and charisma says things like that. So that is happening across the world. And then that is taken advantage of populist leaders who want to be lead. So they know there is already some kind of suffering and resentment or some so many things, poverty, powerlessness, exclusion, and so on. It's a perfect fertile ground for a simple word of divisiveness that can lit up. And this has happened in history again and again. So I think we need to help ourselves. We need to be helping our own leaders to use words that doesn't divide us. The more we are together, India is the most phenomenally diverse country. In every, we got 8 religions, more than 1,600 dialects, at least 50 official languages, which means I wrote recently every 100 feet you can see a diversity. So trying to universalize some ideas which are negative can be quite dangerous. The opposite is also true. Trying to bring them together. The danger is when we're looking at diversity, we are looking at individualism. When you're looking at individualism, we start looking at diversity. So I think this is very important for us to rethink the words we are using, because children, they are innocent. Yeah. The moment you start to saying on karya, even bilya, even kulla, on kunta. So these words are deadly. And then they can internalize that. And then, so I work with countries where racism is rampant. So is in India. So those racist words. So when I travel to different places, I actually write down abusive words, which actually kind of reflect the society. Abusive words about women, abusive words about people of different identity, and general abusive words, masculine, feminine. So those will help me to tell what the society is, and I can be careful about how actually use it in a way and send positive signal.
And if you talk about, because I write a lot of books and with philosophy thoughts. So when you look at nuggets of words, let's say there's a string of nuggets of words. So in your journey, you would have, read widely, listened to a lot of people. So is there any string of words, does that stimulate you to start up a process? I mean, in the sense, it's a whole process, like we read, like I have a dream. It's a stimulant, it kind of opens up, juices you up, and then you kind of build a perspective. So anything like that in your journey, where when you're growing up or at any turn, you read something like a quote, a thought, something that kind of told you, okay, this could be my message, this is something I can adopt. Anything like that comes to your mind?
Absolutely. Because part of the thing is that I think a reasonable communicator always try to use medium. A medium is a word, a story, or a poem. I tend to use that. For instance, if I'm walking in Tamil areas, and I would use poet Bharatiyar's poem. He will say, "Uchimidi vaanamidinju veeluginra podilum achamillai achamillai." That means even if the big blue sky falls on your forehead, be fearless and fearless. And I used to be terribly afraid because I walk in the winter across, and there's snow, there's bliss, there's wind. It's my own courage, but it also attracts other people. Likewise, if I'm with Kannada people, I'll say, "Nademunde, nademunde. Jaggade, kuggade, nuggi nademu." So even though you see, those words are so powerful, it can. So we can actually use it, and I've used it to mobilize people from different. I used nademunde across Europe, explaining them. Then they feel, yeah, this is good. We can do it. So there are many things like that, and indeed, actually, if we start to talk with our own grandfathers or grandmothers and say, what are the kind of kind words that we use? They'll give you number of them. And then so ask each word where the meaning come from. Why did this word come from? So those linkages I do. When I say, how do you price, I just demonstrated by clapping how Nigeria will make. Clapping is a kind of a non-verbal word. So likewise, I ask words that mean something. Words that actually inspires people. I've got many words. When I said it's a campaign on trade justice, it was called Big Noise. And I went to each place, and each place gave me their own translation of big noise. I wouldn't say big noise. Let's make a big noise for trade justice. So I would use that. So I'll find a local word. So I think, as you said, words are important. Words can be a powerful tool for unifying. Words can actually inspire and make people do good things. Yeah? The opposite of words can kill, words can destroy, words can fire up. So I think it's useful for us to rethink, especially like in India, 60% of the people are under 30. You know, they can get used to these horrible words because they're on the social media all the time. So they will just kind of internalize those words. So I hope we can actually be a little bit more thoughtful,
About
self-aware, mindful.
mindful. Now, the role of words is well established, like you said. Even you use it in your life and in the pattern when you talk positively. So, when it comes to climate change now, this is an important space which is being much talked about, and you are one of the forerunners in making sure people understand in how this is going to impact all of us. It's not going to leave anybody behind. All of us means all of us. There is no discrimination at all. So here, how are you looking at the role of words, which can lead to actions, and your own, what you're doing with climate justice walk and fair trade? So, would you want to give your example on how you're used, language, words, leading to actions, and how has it been, and how much of an impact is possible with all this?
I think this is a very important one because climate obviously is impacting, and it's impacting in a very rapid way.
Correct.
You know, my walk is a power walk because I tell, why do we walk like this? I'm nearing 73, 74.
Correct.
Why do you walk so fast? Because time is running out. TikTok, I say,
Right.
and get people to move.
Right.
Yeah, yes. I think going back to what you said is how do I use the words in this case? What are the things? As I said that when I travel across, I found people asking the simple question, is climate changing for good?
Okay.
Yeah, I never ask. Then they say, not even a little bit. And I particularly choose particular groups of people who are more vulnerable. For instance, women.
Okay.
You know, in 2009, we reached across. I work with people living in poverty. I say living because they can get out.
Okay.
But particularly those people who suffer most, I call them, this is the darkest paradox of our time, that those who have caused the least of the problem are giving their life for livelihood. Yeah. So they need justice, right?
Correct.
So that's why I'm saying I'm not a climatologist, but I understand the top lines of the landscape of climatology.
Okay.
And therefore, I bring the stories of individual. And what are these stories about? These stories, yes, I say these people have been hit first, worst, and hardest. And who are those? Those women. Have they done anything? So those three words captures the.
Imagine.
But yet, even though they're battered, they're beaten, they're broken, they bounce back with hope and reimagination. So that gives hope to a lot of people. They are not complaining. Like last year when I did the book of Transformers and the Unreasonable ones, they were reimagining and reinventing and creating prototype of art, craft and handloom. They were not complaining. They were giving a prototype. They were saying that, look, the potential of this art and handcraft is about $1 trillion. It can create 200 million jobs if you are looking for.
Correct.
And they will all be done in a sustainable and resilient way.
Correct.
My stories are that. So, and how will they do that? They are not on a protest. They're giving you a prototype. Yeah, so that's what, those are the kind of stories I want to say, that these women, in spite of all that thing, they are hoping there will be justice and hope. Shorabanu in Bangladesh, she was hit and she lost her land because of the sea coming closer, and it was the land was salty. Her husband went into Sundarban. He was killed by a tiger, and within a short 6 months, she had Cyclone Aila, and she lost everything. But when I asked her, would you come to London and talk? She said, I haven't been to another village. But it is women like that, I help them to tell their stories. And she came back to London and she told the story.
Wow.
And she's still waiting after 13 years for justice, but she hasn't lost hope. So I talk about what people do, like we are here today in this wonderful place,
Right.
a park which actually belongs, if you like, commons,
Right.
but the local citizens have made it their own.
Correct.
They got all these wonderful trees that have been planted.
Correct.
They compost like nobody's business.
Correct.
Yeah, and they teach, as I said, 15, 20,000 children. Today, they have brought about 40 different organizations talking about what their journey has been to remove plastic.
Correct.
So these are very powerful ones.
Right.
And we need to be able to tell these stories because they are not fairy tales.
Right.
They are not fairy tales.
They're not. And
They
that's
are
where
real
words
stories
really
of
matter.
regular people doing irregular things. Like I call myself, I'm a regular guy with irregular hair. I
Right.
keep walking. I sing songs. I tell stories. And in the process, I reach when I walked from Babapuram to Mysore, I directly reached 30,000 people in 19 days.
Wow.
Indirectly, I was on the radio every day.
Okay.
I was told it reaches 1 million people.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there was such a movement that people started to join me every time I walked. Buses would stop and give me way
Okay.
because they were hearing the story through the radio. So these are really good examples in a broad black cloud of disappointment, struggles, anger, and dismissal.
Right.
Yeah. And in that, we are showing a light. As Martin Luther said, you cannot remove darkness with darkness,
Correct.
only light. And these are the light today we saw.
Today what we
Removing the darkness. So for me, that's very important.
and words have been the way to string every story
Absolutely.
together.
And I use a story and I let people, I take people on a journey of how do you tell. Even if you got the most important story, as I was telling them, how the story need to be told, how we can rethink your story. Not lie, but say it like the person who talked about get India importing bad papers, garbage papers,
Right.
spending 15,000 crores, but we have more here. So I told him, if you start the story with that word,
Right.
it's the most perfect lift off for your story. So yes, words, yes,
Right.
reflection important,
Right.
and be thoughtful and mindful is my thing.
Right.
And so we can actually reach out. In all this process, I think what it does is it gives ourselves a sense of reflective nature that gives us calmness.
Correct.
It helps us to overcome the kind of stress we are undergoing.
Right.
It helps us to control. We cannot control anything except how we feel and what we say.
What we say.
So we can do that.
And words can shape thinking.
Absolutely. Spot on.
Spot on. And the Unreasonable Transformers was book 1. So you're coming out with the next version of the book. We will be traveling all over
Hopefully, yes.
India.
I think I traveled during the conference of parties. Indeed, wherever I go, people haven't even heard. 30 years, the leaders are talking about global warming. Now it is global boiling. As you know, the poorest are being hit first. So last year, what I did was about craft, art, and climate impact.
Right.
And why that was a great alternate.
Right.
Why there's a beautiful. So this time, I was doing smallholder farmers and transformative and regenerative work. How are they trying to reduce the impact of climate change, adapt to a new reality, yet telling that the leaders need to do much. As somebody said, we need political will, as there's a story.
Right.
If there's a political will to support the right thing, it's not about just doing the right thing, it's also the right thing for businesses.
Right.
It's the right thing for all of us.
Right.
So yes, this time I'm hoping, and like last year somebody supported me.
Right.
I'm just a small pensioner. I can't afford to do a book.
Right.
Last time a couple of friends supported.
Right.
I'm sure. And I have now got back the money.
Right.
So I told them I'm giving back. They said, no, do another book on your work.
Right.
So hopefully I will do The Unreasonable Transformers of South India. Number 2.
Version.
Unreasonable is a word used by George Bernard Shaw.
Oh, I see. That's how the word comes.
He said that, the reasonable person adapts to the world. The unreasonable one gets the world to come to him and make the world change.
Right.
So all good change happens because of the unreasonable. So that's my story.
So, any particular interesting quote you want to leave our audience with, as in your next part of the journey, which is starting? Anything that you want to leave the audience with?
I would say, nade munde, jaggade, nade munde, jaggade, kuggade, nugi nade munde.
That would be the parting set of words. Thank you, Push. I'll just do a closing. So, thank you all for being on this podcast and being patient listeners. And like words have the power to change the world and make it kind of more powerful for all of us to live in. Thank you for joining us here. And I hope this podcast, you'll be able to use it in your life, in your part of the journey where you are, productively and positively. So, signing off. See you all. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Push. Thank you. See you. Thank you.